Welcome everyone to the handicap special for the 143rd running of the Kentucky Derby. My name is John Waters. I'm going to go ahead and give you my picks. I'll give you a rundown of each one of the horses first, all 20, and kind of go over why I'm going to pick which ones. At the end, I'll give you a list of picks. So if you're just looking for the picks, you can jump right to the end, or you can listen to the whole rundown of each horse here that will be running in the Kentucky Derby on Saturday. Let's jump right to it here. Looking at Lee, trainer Steve Asmussen. Steve Asmussen has 3 horses in the Kentucky Derby this year. The jockey for this particular horse will be Corey J. Lannery, and the morning line is 20-1. Looking at Lee's jockey will be wearing the colors of black with red stripes, red cuffs, and a red hat. Looking at Lee, came a close third in the Arkansas Derby. He was only 1/2 lengths off the lead to Classic Empire, who was the favorite in this race so far. Everyone talked about Classic Empire and what a good move he made. If you actually watch the race, looking at Lee was jumping in and out of traffic. Actually ran a really awesome race just to come in third and was gaining on Classic Empire. You got to remember this race is a little bit longer than the Arkansas Derby is, so there's a good chance that if Looking at Lee can somehow sneak in there, the one post isn't the greatest post to come off of, but it could be a good long shot at 20-1. That's a Looking at Lee 20-1 post position number 1 for the Kentucky Derby. Number 2, we have Thunder Snow. Thunder Snow coming out of the second position. He's the UAE Derby winner. He's 20-1. The UAE is United Arab Emirates. They've been doing this Derby since 2000. They've never hit the board. They've never hit the board at the Kentucky Derby, not a single time. And I'm just going to go ahead and toss out Thunder Snow and say it's not going to happen this time. You got to travel halfway across the world. You're over 42 days rest, which no horse in the history of the Kentucky Derby has won over 42 days rest. So I'm going to go ahead and say Thunder Snow is a big old X on our sheets here today. Speaking of over 42 days rest, at the third position, we have Fast and Accurate. And the most fast and accurate thing you can do at this 50-1 horse is say he's going to lose. They won the Spiral Stakes up there in Cincinnati. That is close to Churchill Downs. Some familiarity there, but over 4 days rest. There's nothing really special about this horse. We're just not going to spend much time on him. Go ahead and pass. Number 4 will be another one of Asmussen's horses. Jockey Ricardo Santana Jr. The morning line is 30-1 on Untrapped. Untrapped will be wearing a red, white, and blue, kind of a blue colors with a white star, large white star, white sleeves, and red stars going down the sleeves with a red hat. Untrapped. He came in 6th in the Arkansas Derby. He got cut off by Looking at Lee in that field. He had some good races earlier on this year, but late, he just really hadn't shown much. And at 30-1, that's about where he should be. Untrapped is not going to have any kind of impact on this race. Coming out of the number 5 hole, we have Always Dreaming. Always Dreaming is one of 3 horses that Todd Pletcher has trained in this race. Jockey will be John R. Vasquez, and the morning line is 5-1. Always Dreaming had a commanding win in the Florida Derby. He just exploded down the stretch. Whenever he tried to close, ended up 5 lengths back. It wasn't close. Probably the most commanding win of all the late preps was by Always Dreaming. He's my favorite to win the Kentucky Derby. He also had State of Honor was also in that race. He's like I said, it was most commanding, most impressive, and Always Dreaming 5-1. Always Dreaming will be wearing yellow with large blue diamonds going across the chest, blue sleeves, yellow diamonds heading down, yellow hat. Okay, speaking of horses that Always Dreaming is beat, we got in the 6-hole State of Honor, trainer Marquis Cass, jockey Jose Lizcano. The morning line is 30-1 on State of Honor. State of Honor had a good showing in the Florida Derby. He was just outmatched by Always Dreaming. I mean, had Always Dreaming not been in that race, sure, I think State of Honor, still would have won it over other horses. But Always Dreaming just had all the gas. Like I said, just exploded down the stretch. Most impressive win. State of Honor will be wearing a red with a black slash across, large diamonds on the insides of the arms, of red sleeves, and a yellow collar and yellow hat. Okay, moving on to the 7-hole, we have Gervin. Gervin is trained by Joe Sharp, and the jockey is going to be Mikey Smith. Morning line is 15-1 on Gervin. Gervin had pretty impressive late wins. He beat Untrapped and Patch. This horse, I'd say, would be good in the exotics. Maybe if you want to toss him in the trifecta or superfecta at 15-1, I believe those odds are probably going to go down a little bit. It'll probably be closer to 12-1. Maybe get down to 10-1. But Gervin's pretty impressive horse. We'll probably be looking at, like I said, maybe in some exactas and some superfectas. Wouldn't be betting the house on him. But Gervin's one you can look at. In the 8th hole, we have Hints, which will be our third Asmussen horse that is running in the Kentucky Derby this weekend. The jockey will be Foreign Garreau. Morning line's 15-1. Let's see. He's only one Sunland Derby winner has ever won the Kentucky Derby. Only one. That's the 143rd, and only one Sunland winner has ever won the Kentucky Derby. The odds are not in his favor to win. Although on that end, now on the flip side of that, the owner of this horse has won a record 8 Kentucky Derbies. So I mean, you got to give him somewhat. You got Steve Asmussen, you got the good owners, but the Sunland Derby being the only big win here, probably not going to cut it. All right, let's move on. We have IRAP. IRAP got me to cussing and yelling in Las Vegas at the Golden Nugget as I watched IRAP and Practical Joke blow McCracken and Taffert off the field in Lexington at Keeneland for Bluegrass Stakes. I was not too happy about the win, but looking at this objectively, you have to understand McCracken's going off at 5-1. We'll talk about that later on. Taffert at 20-1. IRAP won the race, and won it handily. Came up stalking at second and just blew on up, and it was never contested really. He was maybe contested a little bit by Practical Joke. I still think if the race had been longer, that IRAP would have held on. And I don't think he's getting as much credit as he should. This horse did run in several other large races this year and did place in a few of them. I'm going to say IRAP will hit the board. He's coming on. He's getting his mojo on late. You always bet on a streak. IRAP winning the Bluegrass. I mean, put IRAP down and hit the board. You got a 20-1 freebie. Hit the board. IRAP. Okay, let's see here. 10, Gunnevera. Gunnevera had a great year. But he's just outmatched by this competition. I mean, there's so many horses here that have beat Guinevere. Um, and he just hasn't really had any big star wins when it came down to the big show. He hasn't been able to pull it off. I'm just going to go ahead and take a pass on Guinevere hitting the board. Number 11 is the Battle of Midway. That's owner Cherry Hollendorfer, jockey Flavian Pratt. Morning line is 30-1 on Battle. And by the way, on Guinevere, the line was 15-1. And IRAP is 20-1. Battle of Midway. Let's see. We got Battle of Midway wearing orange with green sleeves, 2 white stripes, and a orange hat. Jockey Flavian Pratt, morning line 31, as I said. Battle of Midway, came in second place in San Diego Derby. He got beat by Gormley. There's just not much to say he's going to hit the board. 30-1, about where he should be, and we'll just have to move on from that. All right, number 12 we have Sonneteer, and Sonneteer will be wearing black with 3 gold stripes and 2 chevrons on each arm with the black sleeves and the black hat. Now this same outfit's being the same color is being worn by Hints, Sonneteer, and Patch. Each is wearing a different colored hat. So you have to keep watch on their numbers, not just their colors in this race here. 8 Hints will be wearing a gold hat, 12 Sonneteer black hat, and at 20 Patch will be wearing a white hat. But their colors will be exactly the same with those 3 stripes and the chevrons on the arms, all black. Okay, Sonneteer never won a race, and he's changing that on Saturday. Sonneteer slipped right on into this at a 50-1, and you might as well be 100-1, 1,000-1, 1 million to 1. He's coming in last. That's the only thing you should bet on, that he would come in last place. 13 is J-Boy's Echo. J-Boy's Echo won the Gotham Stakes. Came in 4th in the Bluegrass. Problem with J-Boy's Echo, 20-1. He's at 20-1, and I think he should be more like 30-1 or 40-1. Every horse that beat him in the Bluegrass is in this race, and he wasn't close, really. So you got IRAP, Practical Joke, and McCracken beat J-Boy's Echo in Bluegrass. Like I said, winning the Gotham Stakes is okay, but we already lost pretty big in Kentucky. I'm gonna go ahead and say J-Boy's Echo is not gonna hit the board. Which brings us to number 14, and everyone's big love this year, Classic Empire. Classic Empire comes into this race as the richest horse to ever run in the Kentucky Derby. Classic Empire has won $2 million prior to coming to the Kentucky Derby. Now, Classic Empire was beaten 2 races ago. Second to this last race by Irish Warcry and Guinevere. That was on February 4th, the Holy Bull Stakes. Classic Empire has had a little injury problem. They said is why he lost that race. He had a little problem with one of his hooves. Then after that, had a problem with training. Had some back problems. And then that win at the Arkansas Derby. Of course, he won first place at the Arkansas Derby. It was a close race. It wasn't a blow away. He came right down the middle. He didn't have to make a bunch of moves. Looking at Lee was moving all over that board in and out. Barely got it behind him. Coming third. Classic Empire beat out Conquest Mo Money, I do believe, which is not in this race. I think Classic Empire will hit the board. It's hard. You can't take him off the board. With the pedigree, all this stuff. Classic Empire will be. Let's see. We have Marquis Cass, jockey Julian Lepero, and he's a 4-1. I'm gonna say he's gonna hit the board. He's not gonna win the race. He's gonna come in somewhere between 1 and 4, but he's not gonna win the race. 4-1. I understand the odds. they're still good at 4-1. If they get out to even or something, they're in a point betting on him. You know, got not to win anyways. You know, you put him in an exacta or trifecta or something like that. Brings number 15 horse McCracken. McCracken is a trainer of Ian R. Wilkes and jockey Brian Henry. You know, I'm sorry, I got to go back to IRAP here earlier on. Something I kind of left out about IRAP when we were talking about 9 horse there. Like I said, he was 4th in the Sunland Derby, stunned the world when he won Bluegrass. IRAP has the same owner and trainer and jockey as Nyquist, and so he's a pretty good long shot. And I want to go ahead and throw that out there before I moved on here to McCracken, who IRAP destroyed in that race. But for some reason, McCracken is 5-1. Hey, who knows why? I mean, IRAP, you know, just won the Bluegrass. McCracken came in 3rd. But for some reason, they think that's a fluke. And those who think he's more than line say that McCracken is a 5-1 in the Kentucky Derby race now, the 15 hole. I don't see it. I don't see McCracken coming there. McCracken will be wearing red with a gray cross stripe and red sleeves with the large stripes on the sleeves and a gray hat. McCracken, you know, was one of the, I mean, his favorite to win the Kentucky Derby going into the Bluegrass, and then afterwards, you know, everyone kind of jumped back and jumped off the wagon, but they didn't jump down the count forward. Kind of like in SEC football, when Alabama loses, they don't ever drop out of the top 5. You know, they just kind of say, oh, well, they're not number 1 anymore. Well, that's kind of what they did to McCracken here. They said, oh, he's not number 1 anymore, but he's still in the top. He's still in the top 3. So I may agree with that sometimes when it comes down to Alabama football. I'm a Razorback fan, but I don't agree with it this time. McCracken should have dropped pretty far after being beat by a Practical Joke and in IRAP. You know, it's pretty unimpressive in the Bluegrass. Did win on my birthday in the Street Scent Stakes at Churchill Downs. Won 3 times at Churchill Downs. It's not going to be on my board. So that's it from McCracken. You may disagree with me. Jump right in there and toss one in. I don't think he's hitting the board. I'm wanting to go ahead and take the 5-1 and throw him in the trash can. Number 16. Well, you know, we just got talking about this race here with Taffert and McCracken. You know, I actually picked both of them. I bet the exacta at the Golden Nugget a few weeks ago. I think it was April 8th. You know, I picked both of them horses there, and they should have just walloped that Bluegrass by the looks of their stats. And instead, neither one of them came in 1st or 2nd place. That was won by IRAP, and of course, like I said, Practical Joke. Taffert will be wearing a white colors with a big apple on the chest, suspender-looking stripes, and white sleeves with red diamonds down the sleeves, and a red hat. Taffert is owned by Todd Pletcher. This is the 2nd Todd Pletcher horse we've had in this race. Will be ridden by Jose L. Ortiz. The morning line is 20-1 on Taffert. Okay, now on to Irish War Cry out of the 17 hole. Okay, Irish War Cry, its trainer is H. Graham Motion. Jockey Rashiv Mirage. Morning line is 6-1. Irish War Cry won the Wood Memorial, and I believe he's going to hit the board. I think he's going to come out. He's going to come out strong first. He's going to be out there with the lead of the pack. If he can get out there from the 17, that's a big if. I mean, if he can cut in from the 17 and get out there in the front 4 or 5 horses, I think in this long race, Irish War Cry can hit the board. He will be passed if he's a front runner, but I do believe if you're in the trifectas or superfectas and maybe even exacta, Irish War Cry should be up in those picks. All right. On to number 18, Gormley. Trainer John A. Sheriffs and jockey Victor Espinoza. Morning line's 15-1. Gormley is the winner of the Santa Anita by a head. It may have been a little bit close, a little further ahead. It wasn't much. There's about 6 horses right there, and he kind of popped up in the middle of them. Wasn't a big impressive win there at Santa Anita. He has had a pretty good year. As I said, his odds are 15-1. I look for those odds to shift in the other direction, probably about 17 to 18-1 at the Kentucky Derby. Gormley will be wearing green with a pink stripe across, about level with the pink stripes on the arms of his green sleeves, with a green hat and a pink dot on top of it. Gormley, I don't have him on the board. On number 19, Practical Jokes. We talked about quite a few times here when I'm talking about IRAP and this Bluegrass Stakes run. Came in second in Bluegrass, and he was right up on IRAP. I mean, he was gaining on IRAP. I still think IRAP would have pulled away, but Practical Joke is definitely, at 20-1, a good long shot to throw in there for fun, or maybe throw into a superfecta, maybe throw a $5 bill down on him to place. Without expecting much, don't bet the farm on him. But Practical Joke, it wouldn't surprise me if he hit the board, but I don't have him hit my board. Number 20, we have Patch. Came in second place in the Louisiana Derby. Lost to Gervin. It's the third horse trained by Todd Pletcher, and again, third horse wearing those same colors with this one with the white hat. 30-1 odds. Jockey Tyler Gaffleone. Patch, really just ain't much to say about it. You can't beat Gervin in Louisiana Derby, and Gervin's let's see here. What's Gervin on? 15-1, and you're at 30-1, all the way on the outside, 20 hole. It just doesn't look good for Patch in this race. Bad draw, bad odds. The field's going to be too much for him. That being said, this field is pretty tight. Even though I've come down through and I kind of dogged on some of these horses. These horses, a lot of them are pretty close. Several of them race across each other. Some of them race against each other. But we're going to get down to what my picks are right now. The number 1 long shot for the 143rd Kentucky Derby is going to be Looking at Lee. Looking at Lee, the third place winner of the Arkansas Derby, coming in strong there towards the end. I think if you're going to just bet a long shot for the fun of it, this horse probably is going to jump up in odds. It's probably not going to go down in odds. Probably going to get up to like 25 or 30, maybe higher. Maybe for a show bet, or if you really want to, get crazy, throw them out there to win. I don't believe you'll win, but Looking at Lee is a good long shot bet. Somewhere get on the board. My fourth place pick is IRAP at 20-1. And so we say, well, he's 20-1 also. Why don't you have him as your best long shot? Well, IRAP shouldn't be 20-1. He won the Bluegrass. I mean, it's just they think it's a fluke. Okay, I get it. Think it's a fluke. I don't think it's a fluke. IRAP will hit the board this weekend in the Kentucky Derby. It should hit the board, and they use my number 4 pick. Classic Empire will be my third pick. My pick to come in third place. 4-1 Classic Empire. I just think those injuries and the not so impressive win after all those other impressive wins, he's on the downward slope, maybe a little worn. And Classic Empire, I'm going to say, will come in third. Even being a little worn and stuff, come in third, but will not win the Kentucky Derby. Pick to come in second place, Irish War Cry. Yep, Irish War Cry. You remember earlier on as I'm sorry. Irish War Cry, sorry. The Wood Memorial winner. I was looking at his odds. 6-1. Irish War Cry is 6-1. I think will come in second place. He's going to place in here. He had a pretty impressive win there at the Wood Memorial. I just like the way this horse runs. I think it's healthy, and it's got a good jockey. And we're going to go with Irish War Cry at 6-1. And the number one, as I said earlier on, my favorite pick is Always Dreaming, the most commanding win of the last recent prep races. That win at the Florida Derby, he's got the exact amount of rest time that you need. Got Todd Pletcher, which I know has only won one Kentucky Derby, but Todd Pletcher is a great trainer. Has 3 horses running the Kentucky Derby, and if any one of them is going to win, it's going to be Always Dreaming, and that's my pick to win the Kentucky Derby. Always Dreaming to win. Thank you guys for watching. Hope that wasn't too winded for you, and go out and bet. Go out there to Oklahoma, make those bets. Go to your friend's house, pull some buckets. Get out there to the Kentucky Derby, eat up the sun. Hey, my friends, it's On the Mark. You ballers win buckets. I'll see you at On the Mark on Saturday. Can't make it to the Derby this year. Had to work. I'll catch y'all later. Goodbye.